Time for everybody involved as the race is just moments away.
Yeah, a lot of heroes there. Jackie Ickx, we just saw Fernando Alonso, Hugh de Schoenack, Wolfgang Ulrich, the maestro of Audi Motorsport, and of course everyone really looking forward to this. As you say, noses pressed against the fence, and the noise on that first lap is just going to be magnificent.
Yeah. Well, Stuart, for the drivers, this is butterflies time. If you're in the car, now you get into that little zone of tranquility, and this is actually where your job begins. But for us, it is also where our job begins. It's going to be a long 24 hours. Settle down and get relaxed.
It's reasonably humid, but it does dry out the track pretty quickly. So, do you change or don't you? It was a big debate going on.
Well, this is always the big roll of the dice, and you tend to find the more confident, more experienced professional.
Toyota is on a wet weather groove tyre. Oh, now there's rebelling with not what seems to be an oncoming problem. That'll be about the third car. We saw that happen to the Toyota. The door popped open in the practice, and he had to come in and get.
Benoit Trullier, they're just saying. Still finding it quite difficult, the conditions, for some reason. I don't know why I'd be saying that. Look at this great shot of the Corvette running on those ACO blue and yellow curbs.
It's a great slow-mo shot. Yeah, some parts of the track can get a little bit greasy at some parts, like especially into Arnage, the break-in area, which you think is just a normal 90-degree corner, but it's one that can catch anyone out.
Well,
sorry, slow-mo. If you can see the concentration in the driver's eyes, there's another one there of Mika Salo.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? And then Julian Schell on board. They changed. That's the Pegasus car. And they're in the number 8 car then.
Welcome back here into the times up. The prototypes are monstering them lap after lap. Here we go again on the screen. Nearly all four wheels, certainly the inside too, and look like the outside rear even as well, in the air on the number 1 Audi there. And we're not going to see if this leads to eventual failures until much later on in a race, but I'm really surprised to see that they're taking these kind of risks so early on.
Well, they've tech crew, they're a great bunch of guys, the Pro Speed guys that run it. It's a new car for them this morning as well. The other car was destroyed in an accident on Thursday night, so really unlucky for them. I hope they really do have another 17 hours of uninterrupted driving.
So we're looking at close-ups of drivers here in the sunshine and their helmets, and we've just had a tweet, Stuart, about something to do with the helmet with Brendan Hartley.
Yeah, we're going to have a chat with Brendan Hartley now, then we're going to talk about him. And has just tweeted a picture of an in-car shot of Brendan, and it does look like he's done that stint with his helmet unstrapped, because obviously when he was reversing the car, he never got out, he never towards the driver, just keeps that cockpit temperature nice and low.
Alex in Pretoria there, he does seem to have the front wheels both pointing the right direction, doesn't he? So hopefully he can get himself back. Nice replay there of something flying off the number 12 car. That's the Matthew Besh rebellion. But Alex in Pretoria, this is a guy who's been around a lot, hasn't he? He has only had one participation at Le Mans, but he came here as the Carrera Cup Asia champion, and he's had most of his racing's been done in the Far East.
It never fails to disappoint. It's always tight, it's always competitive, and those guys are really going at it hammer and tongs. At the moment, it's advantage Aston Martin, but only by 9/10 of a second back to Richard Westbrook in the Chevrolet, and then back from him is Giancarlo Fisichella in the number 51 Ferrari.
I'd just like to drop a name, Clang, and say I had dinner with Giancarlo Fisichella last night. I'd like to, but it's not strictly true. He was in the same restaurant. It was empty just apart from him and me and Tommy Erdos, but, it's as close as I'll ever get to having dinner with a Ferrari driver.
Yeah, well, that's what Eduardo Freitas, the race director, told us yesterday, Sam Hancock, is that he would only deploy the safety cars if they needed to get some heavy equipment out on the track to repair the barriers.
We've just got a still photograph here from behind the barriers where the Ferrari hit, which is exactly where all the attention from the marshals is right now, and there is clearly visible damage, particularly to the lower third of the Armco barrier, that will need to be repaired. And actually he's hit. So behind the Armco you have the wire fencing, which is obviously supported by vertical pillars, and it looks like 2 of those have taken a heavy hit.
Yeah, the AC has just confirmed that the barriers do need repairing.
Okay,
so well done.
When we saw that intervention car on a racetrack, I would presume that...
Fantastic to see. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back with you as soon as we can.
Internal combustion engine, similar to Formula One, but they've vastly improved the capacity of those effectively electric engines this year. Last year they had a total of half a megajoule, 500 joules of hybrid power that they could use to augment the regular horsepower from the internal combustion engine. This year it's as much as 6 megajoules, and there's 4 different categories in which you can build a car to the regulations. You can have no hybrid power, such as the Rebellion R1, which is mainly aimed at privateer teams. The Rebellion R1s, both of them unfortunately, well no, one of them out of the race. Number 12 car is still running, actually 9th place overall after a lengthy delay last night. You can have a 2 megajoule system, such as the car we're watching right here on the screen. The Audi R18 e-tron Quattros have a 2 megajoule system, so it's still 4 times as much as last year. And then there's nobody running
just over a lap from Timo Bernhard in the Porsche, but Bernhard with trouble on his hands. Andre Lotterer in the second Audi, the number 2 car that won 2 consecutive years, 2011, 2012, is right behind. Look at the tyre deformation over those rumble strips. You barely notice it, I'm sure, in the car, but in these hyper slow-mos, not only do you see how much the car takes off, but you just see how much strain they are under.
The last couple of laps.
Well, front wheel with the camber of a Grand Prix Bugatti Type 35 is not what you want on a modern tyre.
Of the Corvettes.
Yeah, it's all very close indeed still after 20 and a bit hours of running. So Sam, we had a bit of a conversation earlier. You were down in the pit lane at the time about the YAM status of driver. Now you've had an awful lot of experience in that. You brought Simon Donan along from a relatively unknown in motorsport right up to competing at Le Mans in the LMP2 class. Just tell the viewers what sort of preparation goes into that, because it must be incredibly meticulous and really getting someone who's gone from nothing to almost being a professional sportsman that doesn't earn money at the time.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it. We didn't finish yeah, looked like he did what so many others have done before him, which is come hurtling through the fast right-hand opening part of Indianapolis, brake a little late, possibly a little offline, and just go straight on. More often than not, you've got the inside left locked and smoking away because the circuit falls away as it goes into a heavily banked, heavily cambered left-hand apex in part 2 of Indianapolis, and the front tires go, the inside front goes light, and it just ignores your steering request if you carry a couple of Ks too much into that corner. Yeah,
we've seen several cars into that gravel trap, haven't we, during this race? I spoke 2 or 3 hours ago now with Pierre Arret, who buried his car number 70.
But with the same race engineer, Lena Gade. I mean, those four people are going to just create history, aren't they?
How do they do it? They just seem to just pull it out of the bag time and time again, and it's quite often, at least for the first part or the first half of the race, the less fancied car. And I mean, frankly, at the beginning of this race, who'd have fancied an Audi, any of the Audis?
Well, I would actually, because I actually picked, no, I did. Well, we had a sort of sweep next door, and we had to pick the winners in each of the 4 classes, and I think I'm actually doing fairly well on that. But I did actually pick this number 2 car, and purely down to reliability. But we're coming out with. Are we going out to the pit lane or a break? We're 10 to 15 minutes time. Oliver Turvey, I'm pretty sure it might be even less than that actually. I forgot to write down what time it was that the number 46 car came in last time, but I'm pretty sure Ollie Turvey also will need a splash before the end of the race. But Turvey has been pulling away from Bardet now that the margin between the first and second cars in LMP2, in their 5th and 6th place overall now, so excellent effort by both of those teams, is 16 seconds. And when they came out of the pits, 25 minutes ago, a bit more than that perhaps, it was a second and a half between the 2 cars. So Oliver Turvey has gradually increased that gap, and he really has done a fine job.